Today we'll be discussing the performance parameters of single phase induction motor. The topics to be covered today are equivalent circuit of single phase motor at standstill, equivalent circuit of single phase induction motor at any slip, calculation of performance parameters, then the two tests which is normally being performed on the single phase induction motor to calculate the equivalent circuit parameters and its efficiency, that is block rotor test and no load test. The equivalent circuit of the single phase induction motor is similar to what we have done for the three phase. There it was the per phase quantities. Over here it is single phase motor, single phase quantities only. R1 is the stator resistance, X1 is the stator leakage reactance, R2 dash is the rotor resistance, refer to the stator, X2 dash is the rotor reactance, refer to the stator, RC is the core loss resistance, and XM is the magnetizing reactance. V1 is the input voltage and I1 is the current drawn by the motor. Now the equivalent circuit of the single phase induction motor based on the double field revolving theory, we have got two components of the field and therefore the rotor induced EMFs are divided into two parts, one as the forward EMF, the other one is the backward EMF, and at standstill both the forward EMF and the backward EMF is equal because both the slip frequencies are the same, that is the supply frequency. Hence the forward EMF quantity and the equivalent parameter quantities is the same as the backward EMF and the backward resistance, reactance and the other components of the rotor. The stator resistance and reactance is the same as before because there is no change on the stator side. Hence this is the equivalent circuit of the single phase induction motor at standstill. But at any slip the resistances will be changing as per their slip direction and therefore the rotor side forward EMF becomes as EMF, which is different than the backward EMF, EMB. The forward side rotor resistance referred to the secondary will be R2 by 2S and reactance remains the same because it is not dependent on the slip frequency, hence it is X2 dash by 2. Similarly for the backward side reactance, rotor reactance, it is X2 dash by 2 because it is not a slip dependent term. There will be only the changes in the slip dependent term. So the rotor resistance referred to the stator side is R2 dash by 2 into 2 minus S. But to have the simplicity in the for the calculation purpose, the core loss resistance is being neglected. Only we have got the magnetizing reactance and therefore it is known as the approximate equivalent circuit of the single phase induction motor. And rest of the things remains the same. Only thing is that we have just removed the parallel core loss resistance which was there in shunt to the magnetizing reactance. Now the forward and the backward field resistances that we already know, depending on the slip, the resistance in the forward field will be equal to R2 dash by 2S, resistance in the backward field will be equal to R2 dash by 2 into 2 minus S. So at when slip is equal to 1, the resistance of the both the forward and the backward field is the same because S is equal to 1. Substituting S equal to 1, you will get the same resistance as R2 dash by 2. But as the rotor starts rotating, the slip tends to decrease and the resistance in the forward field is not equal to the resistance in the backward field, that is equal to R2 dash by S, that is the slip dependent term. So as the speed is almost near to the synchronous speed, slip will be almost equal to 0 and therefore R2 dash by 2S increases much more as compared to the R2 dash by 2 into 2 minus S because your slip will be tending to 0, therefore the resistance numerator will increase and therefore the forward EMF is much more greater than the backward induced rotor EMF. Now the impedance due to forward field will be equal to the forward resistance plus the reactance and in parallel to the magnetizing reactance. So similarly you will have the impedance due to the backward field which will be equal to the resistance seen as the backward field and the reactance seen by the backward field which will be equal to R2 dash divided by 2 into 2 minus X. X2 dash remains the same in parallel with the magnetizing reactance divided by 2. The stator impedance remains the same, that is your Z1 will be always equal to R1 plus JXL because the supply frequency is the same. Therefore the impedance remains the same, R1 plus JX1. J is for the phasor direction. Now the total equivalent impedance will be equal to Z1 plus the forward impedance plus the backward impedance of the rotor. So the motor current will be equal to V by Z equivalent, which comes as V by Z1 plus forward impedance plus the backward impedance, and the power factor will be R equivalent by Z equivalent, which is equal to the total equivalent resistance divided by the total equivalent impedance. Therefore, the EMF will be given as I1 into ZF, and the backward EMF will be given as I1 into ZB, and the rotor current will be equal to the forward EMF divided by the forward impedance, and the backward current will be given by the backward induced EMF divided by the total backward impedance seen by the rotor, and therefore you will get the equation. Just introduce the respective slips in the equation. Now the performance characteristics. What will be the air gap power? Equation remains the same. Only thing is that we have to take care of the forward and the backward fields, and respective values has to be put of the slip. So the air gap power is given by I2 square R2 by S. So over here it becomes as I2 dash square R2 dash by 2 into 2 minus S for the backward. Respective torques will be the respective air gap powers divided by the synchronous speed. The synchronous speed remains the same, so that will be the same. Only thing is that the air gap power will be different, so those has to be substituted individually. The net torque will be equal to the forward torque minus the backward torque. The rotor copper loss due to the forward field will be given as S times the air gap power of the forward field, and similarly for the backward field it will be the slip times the backward air gap. The total copper loss will be the copper loss due to the forward field and the backward field. It is the simple summation, and the mechanical power developed will be equal to omega into T. So the net torque was Tf minus Tb multiplied with the slip, that is your rotating speed Nr. So Nr is nothing but 1 minus S into omega S into the net torque, and in terms of power it can be given as divided by omega, so it comes as in terms of power that will be 1 minus S into the forward air gap power minus the backward air gap power. Now the mechanical power developed, it can be given as 1 minus S into air gap power of the forward field. Backward will be 2 minus S is the backward field slip, so 2 minus S into the air gap power of the backward field. So the mechanical power, net mechanical power developed will be the forward power divided by the backward power. Substitute the values and you will come to the equation what we had derived earlier. Similarly, you can use the other terms, that is omega into T, which we have derived in the last slide. So the net power output will be given as the mechanical power developed minus the friction and windage losses, and the core losses will be the net power out. So the efficiency will be output by input into 100. Now the block rotor test of the single phase induction motor. The connection remains the same. Connect the ammeter, voltmeter and the wattmeter. So a very small voltage will be applied because rotor is blocked, so it's similar to the short circuit test. So very supply will be given through an auto transformer, and the small voltage will make the rated current flow, and you will measure the ammeter reading, voltmeter reading and the wattmeter readings. So the parallel combination at S is equal to 1 will be RC by 2 plus XM by 2 are of very high values. Therefore it is neglected, and you can calculate the circuit parameters in combination, that is R1 plus R2 dash in whole as equal to the short circuit resistance RSC. ZSC will be equal to V by I measured at the short circuit condition, and you can calculate the equivalent reactance as X1 plus X2 dash is equal to under root of ZSC square minus RSC square. Generally, to segregate the stator and the rotor resistances and reactance, we take them as equal, and we take that R1 is equal to R2 dash and X1 is equal to X2 dash when referred to the stator side. Now the no load test, the motor is run at the rated voltage under no load condition, and the rotor is free to rotate. Therefore, over here the core loss resistance will be neglected because R2 dash is much greater than the Xm by 2. Also R2 dash by 2 minus S will be much less than Xm by 2. Therefore you will take the reactance, magnetizing reactance will be covered in case of the backward field, and R2 dash by 4 is much less than the Xm by 2. So the equivalent circuit parameter becomes as forward direction because R2 dash is much larger than the Xm by 2. So only the current will be flowing through the forward reactance, magnetizing reactance. In the backward field condition, you will have the rotor resistance into consideration and the reactance into consideration. So the equivalent circuit parameter under no load becomes as R1 X1 will be there on the stator for the stator side, and on the rotor side we'll have the forward magnetizing reactance divided by 2, backward rotor resistance divided by 4, and X2 dash as divided by 2. So these are the conditions. Therefore, when you do the measurement, you get the I0. Wattmeter measures the I0 square R, and the R will be equivalent to the stator resistance plus the rotor resistance under the no load condition, and the reactances in total becomes as X1 plus X2 dash by 2 plus Xm by 2. So this is how it is being calculated. You can see the equations over. Now today we have studied about the equivalent circuit of single phase induction motor at standstill and at any slip. What is the variation we have seen, calculation of the performance parameters, and we can also measure these parameters with the help of the block rotor test and the no load test and calculate the efficiency.